remember her when she started. Can you hear me?
It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
We made it to another weekend. Hello, it is Friday. Yay, it is Friday. I call it Friday edition of the Geno Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday around 6:30. Notice the adjective in that sentence was around 6:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m., 5:30 in Chicago, 3:30 out on the West Coast. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Geno Jones channel right here on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, and also tag the show. Tag it on everybody's social media platform. Facebook, you can go ahead and share the episodes from my Facebook pages. Also, you can copy the link and paste it, post it on Instagram, on Twitter. So like, share, and subscribe. My goal is to get 100,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. Help a brother out. We can make that happen. Also, speaking of helping a brother out, supporting a black business owner, a black business entrepreneur, I would be honored to have you as a sponsor. I would love it. I would be so honored. I'd be honored to have you as an advertiser. I'd be honored to sponsor your product. Be your pitch man. You know what I'm saying? Because if you need a great pitch man to help you brand your business or build your brand or sell, move some products, services, or goods that you have, I'm just going to tell it to you just like that. I am simply not the king. No, I'm not the king. I'm the king! The king! You get it? The king! A pitch man. So holla at your boy. Leave me a message right here on my YouTube channel. I'll give you my email address at the end of the show. Let's get right into it. So on Fridays, I like to do a weekend review show, but I am coming to you live via YouTube. Tonight, it is Friday evening at about, it's a little after 6:30. And this news just broke, a couple of hours ago. Convicted murderer, the convicted murderer of George Floyd, Derek Chauvin, was sentenced to 22 and a half years in jail, in prison, by a judge in Minneapolis a couple of hours ago. So once again, Derek Chauvin, the convicted murderer of George Floyd, was sentenced to 22 and a half years. The maximum that he could have got sentenced today was 30 years. The minimum was around 12. So we get accountability. Yes, we get accountability. We do not get justice. Because true justice would mean that little Gianna, who we got to see in the victim impact statement via video, little Gianna would be able to have her dad take her for a walk to buy some ice cream, or take her to the park and put her on a swing and push her, or maybe go to the beach and collect seashells, or teach her how to swim, or teach her how to ride a bike, or make her pancakes for breakfast, or one day send her off as she goes off on her high school prom, or eventually one day give her away in marriage to a future husband. So little Gianna will never, ever, ever be able to share those moments with her dad. But her dad lives with her in spirit, as she said today in a victim's impact statement, which really nearly brought me to tears. So the Floyd family did not get justice. However, the Floyd family and America, especially Black America, got a form of accountability. Now keep in mind, Derek Chauvin, convicted murderer, is also facing federal civil rights charges, which could add more time to his 22 and a half years. So now let me transition to some good, for me, some great news. And a lot of you guys, I'm sure, will find this as some great news. So for all those who are a fan of Gabriella Wilson, now you're saying, wait a minute, hold on, gee, who? Gabriella Wilson? Gabriella Wilson. Oh, I bet you know her by her stage name. H.E.R. That's right. H.E.R.'s new album, Back of My Mind, is out today. There are 21 songs on this album. The album is phenomenal. As a matter of fact, 2 of the songs are already huge hits on radio. Come Over, which is a booty call song. But I've never heard a booty call song that was so classy and sensual. Usually a booty call song is a booty call song. But leave it to her to be able to perform a booty call song, a 2 a.m. call, and it'd be just as classy and sophisticated. Even Chris Brown, she got him, he tightened up. He fit right. He got his classy and just a classy, smooth, sexy kind of swag on there. Also, there's another song called Damage from that album. So she is such a talented young lady. She was a child prodigy as a musician, and now she is a Grammy Award-winning and Oscar Award-winning talented young lady. Black Women Magic, H.E.R. Speaking of Black Women Magic, also out today, Mary J. Blige's documentary. Wow, boy, this has been much talked about, much awaited, much hyped documentary. Mary J. Blige's My Life on Amazon Prime. Now, Mary is very open and honest, talking about her depression, her substance abuse, her domestic violence that she was dealing with from Casey of Jodeci. When this album was released around in 1994, the My Life album, you can hear not just in the lyrics, but you can hear the pain and the depression and just all the trauma that she was dealing with. You can hear it and feel it in her voice. And you can hear it in the lyrics of her song. But it turned out to be such an iconic album. And Mary's pain spoke to the pain of so many women, especially so many Black women at that time, that unfortunately they were experiencing some or all of the same things that Mary J. Blige was going through. But it is truly one of the most iconic albums in the history of music. As far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest ever. If you don't have it, go download that My Life album. The music, and just the sample, that whole My Life, the sample from Roy Ayers back in the day. Sunshine, my life, my life, my life, my life in the sunshine. Dun, 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 dun. Everybody loves the sunshine. Yeah, buddy. All right, more Mary J. Blige news. Mary J. and Toni Braxton are going to get together on the 4th of July. It's Versus. That's right. It's not the next Versus because you got Soulja Boy and somebody else coming up before that. But the big Versus battle for me, Mary J. Blige versus Toni Braxton on the 4th of July on Versus and Triller. Who you got? Because Tony's been getting a lot of shade. Boy, y'all been shading Toni Braxton a lot. Now, hold on. I know Mary is the queen of R&B and hip-hop soul, undisputed. But don't sleep on Toni Braxton and Babyface, that collaboration, just that whole Boomerang soundtrack. And Toni Braxton's I Love Me Some Him and 7 Whole Days. Woo, hold on now. Hold on. It ain't just going to be no route. It's going to be a great versus battle. I look at it as a celebration of 2 beautiful, brilliant, talented Black queens. More Black women magic. All right. Speaking of Black women magic, let me put on these bulky headphones that I'm going to be getting rid of real soon. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further delay, you see her. She is my weekly co-host, my cohort in good trouble, wasting no time, bringing her on camera from the very, look at her. She's balling out. From some secret Caribbean island location. Yeah, man, everything I read, man. I don't know if it's Jamaica, the Bahamas, Aruba, Trinidad, wherever it is. I damn sure wish I was there. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Keela Carson. Keela Carson! What's happening with you? Oh, unmute you. You must still be muted because I made sure I unmuted
There
you.
we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, Jamaica today, Jamaica Queens, as in my Adidas. I'm repping today for the NYC because of Mary J.
oh
Blige.
yeah, she's doing her thing. Okay,
So,
so I guess it's clear who you got in the battle between Mary J and Tony B.
well, I don't know what battle you talking about because Mary said there's no battle.
Okay, all right. Well,
Yeah.
Toni Braxton and Babyface, they had something to say about that. They said, "We'll see."
So you know what? Okay, let's back it up a little bit. We'll
Okay.
get to that in a second.
Okay.
Let me say before we go any further. Let me take off my glasses. You know, I don't want to aggravate the viewers.
Hey, I like
The
those. Those
Chauvin.
glasses look good. I like them.
I know, but sometimes the glare might bother people.
So thoughtful.
But the Chauvin verdict, not verdict, sentencing today. Like you said, it wasn't necessarily just and that there will be justice, but it was about accountability. I think you and I had a couple of conversations, one about the sentencing, and I think what I thought it would be about 25 years. So we were pretty close to the mark.
Yeah.
So 22 and a half, I think, is what the judge
Exactly.
came down with. And the reason why he got pretty much, close to the max is because I think one of the things that the judges said was that the officer's behavior was just unbefitting of human life, of respecting the integrity of a human.
Yeah.
And so that's why he had to err or judge on the side of as much time as possible.
Yeah. One of
So
the legal
kudos
term
to
was.
the judge.
I'm sorry. Yeah. The legal term was aggravating factors. That
Yes.
and the fact that I guess I'm paraphrasing. His conduct was not befitting of a peace officer.
That's right. That's right. So
Say it. Say it.
yeah, I
You
mean,
know how we do it. You know how we do it on this show. Say
no,
it.
I mean, no, I'm almost at a loss for words.
Yeah.
Because you just want to drag them.
I know.
You do. You just want to drag them.
I know.
And I know that his family is hurting today because his family did not commit that crime.
Yeah.
And so they have a right to their pain. Their pain is justified.
Yeah.
And so is George Floyd's family, his daughter, and all of the family members that came out today to witness the sentencing and offer impact statements. This is horrific, and he had to be made an example of today. So, hello, officer so and so, if you're watching, don't do this.
No.
Don't shoot nobody when you don't have to. Don't disrespect a person who should be treated as innocent until proven guilty. Okay? So, choking someone with your knee, let's hope this never happens again when it's unwarranted. This was a man who you thought committed a crime. Okay, so treat him as such. Arrest him like you would any other human being. Take them to the station, book them or whatever, and let the case proceed.
And
But
let
you don't
the
take-
legal, right. Let the legal system
Right.
play out.
That's right. This was vigilante justice to me.
Absolutely. And Key, we'll go finish that thought. And I just want to piggyback on something you were saying earlier.
And so I just want to say to Chauvin and others like him with that attitude, the jig is up. A precedent has been set.
Yes.
Now you know for sure you can spend the rest of your life or a good portion of your life behind bars.
And cost your city about $24 million
Yep,
settlement.
Exactly. Exactly. But the money aside, if you don't value other people's lives like George Floyd, I hope you value your own.
Or just turn in the badge and find another line of work. Now let me just jump in and piggyback because Keela's a very compassionate, very thoughtful,
Yeah.
compassionate, measured woman. So I don't presume to speak for her because trust me, she didn't need anybody to speak for her. But let me just kind of go where I felt she was going and what the pause was behind. Now I saw and heard Derek Chauvin's mother and her victim's impact statement.
Mhm.
I'm a parent. I could see my mother in her mother in this sense. That's your child. You carried him for 9 months. So the bond between a mother and a child, especially a mother and a son, nobody understands better than I do. One thing I do understand, as much as my mother loves me, and I know this woman is watching me right now, this woman would give her life for me as if I would give my life for her. But the one thing that she would not do is condone me doing something wrong. My mother would love me to the grave. She would be like, Jeannie, I love you, but I do not love what you did. And that I hate that if I'm just projecting as if I was Derek Chauvin, and if my mother would saw me on video with my knee on somebody's neck, me as a police officer, for 9 minutes and 29 seconds while this person was begging for their life, handcuffed, arms behind their back, ankles restrained in restraints. My mother would say, Jeannie, I did not raise you that way, and I cannot condone your behavior. I love you as my son, but I despise, I reject, I hate what you did because you weren't raised that way. You didn't see that person's humanity. So I understand Derek Chauvin's mother trying to plead for mercy for her son, but where I jump off that situation, Key, is the fact that I never heard her address the Floyd family. And everything was about her son being the victim. Being a parent does not mean that you condone bad behavior. As my grandmother would say all the time, there is no right in wrong, Key. I can't find any right in doing wrong. I don't care who you are, even if you are my child. I will never find right if I know and I see and witness with my own eyes that you have done wrong. I cannot stand for that. I can love you and still criticize you and separate, compartmentalize the love I have for my child, but understanding that you have committed such a heinous act that you have to be held accountable. So I
Yeah,
hope that was I hope that was fair, Key.
and see, I don't know that Chauvin's mother wasn't thinking that, feeling that. I don't know that she hasn't said that in other conversations. So I don't want to accuse her of being insensitive when I don't know um, her heart. But she did not say that she was sorry to the family. And um, you're right. I mean, most parents generally, when something like this happens and they have to offer an impact statement, which is common in court when you're talking about sentencing, um, most people, whether it be a family member, parent, what have you, do offer sympathy to the victim's family. That is common. But also keep in mind, when you're up there and you're speaking from your heart, you may miss things. This is something that you try to prepare for, but you're not a public speaker. You don't know always the right things to say. So I just want to be careful that I don't wrongfully speak to her heart. But it is a fact that her child committed a crime, a heinous crime, one that has cost an individual his life. and has affected not only her family, but their family as well. And the only difference in terms of the hurt is that Chauvin, well, yeah, he's going to be locked up for 22 and a half years, but they can still see him.
Yes.
The Floyd family will never, ever in this life be able to hug, kiss, say, I love you, or even say, you were wrong. They can't even say that he was wrong. So there's a difference. She can see her son. She may not like where she has to see him, but she still has her son alive. And that is huge.
Well said. Very compassionate, Key. You better than me because you're right. It, it is fair to say, many people say, well, you can't judge a person's heart. But for me, in real time, I can judge where your heart is. For me, I'm just speaking for me, Key. I can judge what's in your heart by what you do and say in the moment. So in the moment, it was clear that your heart was in one place. And I get that. But I just go back to how I was raised, and I think about my mother, and I think about conversations that she has had with me and looked me dead in my eye, her and my grandmother and my grandfather. But specifically, since we're talking about mothers, she made it very clear that if you commit a crime, you have to be held accountable. And I will never excuse or justify bad behavior. I will always love you as my son, but me loving you, me even being willing to give up my life for you, doesn't mean that I will condone any bad behavior, especially something as heinous as that. Because she would say, where did that come from? I taught you to have compassion, and I taught you to display humanity for people. She would want to know, where did that come from? Where did that come from? So that's just my take. But
yeah, so,
well said.
I mean, at least the Floyd family can put this phase of the case to bed and proceed with the other phases that are still coming, and we'll still have them reliving this, for a little bit longer until all the cases are tried and
adjudicated one way or another, huh?
Right, or adjudicated, or and hopefully all involved are made to be held account. So
well
that's
said.
that.
Well said. What else you got?
This verses that this is like the cat and mouse, Geno.
Okay.
Of the verses.
Why do you say that? Explain.
Well, it did not, because everybody was on social media today talking about yay July, and Mary's like, no, I don't. First of all, what would I need to do a verses for? And I was like, that sound like how much you paying? How's this gonna be set up? And Toni Braxton quiet as a church mouse. So I would not mark my calendar just yet. Or if you are, you better use that erasable ink because we're not 100% sure that this is actually going to happen. If it does, it's going to be epic.
Right. So wait, hold on. Stop. So let's go back. So apparently that you laid your eyes on, I guess, some tweets or something on social media from Mary or Instagram that led you to believe.
She talked to the Breakfast Club.
Okay. So it led you to believe that there's still, this battle is still somewhat in question. It has not been confirmed, written in stone, as they say.
Yes.
Oh.
And the Versus crew have now been quoted as saying it's not.
Oh.
So I wouldn't, like I said, mark your calendars, but use erasable ink.
Right. Put a big question mark behind it.
Yeah, put a question
Mary
mark.
J versus Toni
First
Braxton, question
question
mark,
mark.
4th of July.
Right.
Wow.
But if they can get it together, because honestly, Geno, I think because people have been wanting this one in particular, for so long, and by people, I mean
the public, fans, yes.
ladies, Gen X. I mean, come on, Mary and Toni. It don't get no better than that for us.
Right.
I mean, if we had to,
right,
this the last concert, ladies. Your last bottle of whatever. Who you want to see?
Right.
I mean, as far as female acts go, Toni and Mary are right up there.
Right. And Keith, on that point, let me just jump in here. Now let's be honest. Because you and I worked together in the mid '90s. Okay.
So I started in radio when Mary debuted.
Right.
I was hitting the air as Mary was Real Love.
And that was like around 91 when that came out.
Well, 92, because I
91, 92, right, too. Okay.
Yep.
So now My Life came out in 94.
Right. So the difference is the 411 was her debut.
Yes.
But My Life is when we went, oh.
Right. But now let me put it in perspective. Once the 411 came out, you could say, well, not even arguably, I don't have the numbers, but I'm pretty confident in saying this. If you just looked at the raw numbers, what's the 411 in terms of sales? I mean, absolutely more sales than
Geno, wait a minute. I'm having a little technical difficulty.
Oh, that's okay. Maybe that's Mary calling. Tell her to email me, send me her email address. We'll add her. We'll bring her on live. Either Mary or Toni. We'll bring them on the show live, Key. You know how we get down. So anyway, so the point I was trying to make. All right, so after My Life came out, there was somewhat of a, I'd say, lull, because Mary has admitted herself, and I'm sure when you see the documentary, because she was very open about her depression, her substance abuse, just the dealing with the domestic violence from Casey. She even talked about in the documentary where she was suicidal. She was afraid of her own self. And it reflected in her music because there was a lull. Now let's go back. Let's talk about Toni Braxton at that time. Think about the albums that came, the singles. I Love Me Some Him. Love Should Have Brought You Back Home. All the hits that she had with Babyface. So there was a period when there was a lull musically and in terms of a cultural impact, that there was a lull for Mary when Toni was on fire. That was probably Toni Braxton's peak, kind of right after the My Life album, and I can't even think of the one after that, but there was just, like I said, that little lull, not just personally, but professionally. So, back in real time in the mid-90s, one could argue that Toni Braxton was as big, especially for our culture and in R&B music, as Mary was at that time.
Yeah, there's no question. And I mean, you and I are the things that you're bringing up are steeped in actual, numbers and album sales and
radio
airplay, tickets sold to concerts and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But even more important than all of that, it didn't matter what if you couldn't afford to buy a Toni Braxton album or a Mary J album or whatever, because you were just that broke and that's just what life was at that time, right? That didn't mean you didn't know who they were. Young women, because keep in mind, they are, this is the Gen X generation in their, they're around 21, 22.
They were in their 20s in the mid-90s. Yeah.
And so we're right there with them.
Yes.
Finding love for the first time. I mean, real love, where you can step out and, you know, and tell your mama I'm with my man, you know.
You say, tell your mama and be defiant with it. I'm
Yeah,
with my
no,
man, mama. I'm grown now. You can't tell me when to come home. I'm with
ex-
my man.
exactly. Okay. So you right there, and then it goes south on you. Um, and then, ooh, personal growth. What's that all about? So they and it wasn't immediate. It was just like our lives were happening.
Yes.
It would be like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Then you're hitting 30, and it's like, woo! I forget about him. I need to get me together,
Yeah.
girl. You a wreck. And Toni and Mary were right there.
Yes, because they both had personal challenges. Yes, that's a
Right.
very good point, Key.
Who
Yes.
am I? You know, what kind of woman am I? What do I want in life? What are my goals? Oh, you mean I need to maybe stop? Listen, I love my Adidas that I have on today. I love my Tims and all that, but maybe I need to put on a professional suit because I have a meeting. Maybe I need to stop, drinking on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because I got meetings in the morning. Maybe I need to start paying attention to my money. Maybe I need. They were right there.
And throw this in for Toni Braxton. She personal health issues. She found out that she has lupus, something I'm very familiar with because my mother to this day is living with lupus. So she had that issue, and then she had a son that was a special needs son.
Autistic.
So you
Yeah, he's on the
just
spectrum.
to add to the point that you're making is
So
life kind of
and those things came later as we went through health issues, like you said, with Toni and her lupus. Then here it is, Gen X. We're having strokes. I had a stroke. There's cancer. There's lupus. My sister has lupus. I mean, so you start hitting that point when, I'm not, magical and YOLO. I'm gonna, live forever. You only got one life, so do whatever the heck you. Oh no, no, no! I got one life. Let me slow down and enjoy this. Okay, then it was divorces and Mary going through her divorce and all. So when you look at Mary has this song where she says this line, we're in the thick of it. We were in the thick of it with her.
yeah.
And with Toni and with ourselves. So when we as Gen X look at a Mary and a Toni, no, those are our sisters.
Yeah.
We like, oh yeah. I mean, we marked what was going on in our life with whatever song they're singing.
You saw yourself in them.
Right, because I mean, I love me some him, then quickly turned in you wasn't man enough.
Right. Love should have brought your ass home last night.
Well, but when Toni said you wasn't man enough for me, baby.
She was speaking to you. She was your spokesperson, Key, at the time. You could have wrote that song.
All of us. And when she said, well, if your mama, what's that line in the song when she said, well, if your mama is so knowledgeable, you need to be with her. Oh yeah, we were. Like I said, it was like we were in a sorority together, coming all up at the same time, going through the same thing at the same time. So when those songs hit, they are etched in our life. So versus.
Can I say this?
Yes.
Those songs, they were the soundtrack for your lives.
Yes, for Gen X women. Not to say that other women don't appreciate them, but it's just like asking someone who grew up with Aretha,
yes,
during that time, or any
Ross.
other popular female iconic star or icon. So when you talk about Mary and Toni doing the verses, so this what's gonna have to happen. First of all, they're gonna have to pay them. I don't know what verses normally does, but they need to cut the check.
Well, I got an idea. Do what they did for the other 43 artists when the deal with Triller happened.
Right.
Mary wants some
So,
stock. Give her and Tony
so
some stock. I don't know what the number needs to be. Mary, I'm sure she'll tell you. You all can negotiate that, and
yeah.
Tony
So
too.
either cut the check, get the stock, whatever the payment plan is. Also, take the venues that you've had, which were very nice, and you're gonna have to rethink this because we need two bands. Because heck, with the tracks playing in the background, we want a full on experience. So we need Toni Braxton's band, we need Mary J's band on one side of the stage. We need both of them in full drag. Full drag.
Now, it's funny you say that, Key, because
Feel.
when verses and you mentioned growth and you used that word
Yes.
growth earlier, because I think the early beauty. Now, keep in mind, I got to put it in context because the world was under quarantine. We couldn't go anywhere. So when Timberland and Swizz first did verses, and then when Teddy couldn't get the sound right and couldn't get the video right, but Babyface, he was in his studio and all he had to do was press play. There was a certain intimacy with that, and it's grown. Eventually, you start singing. They would have tracks, but the artists would sing live over it. And I remember when Patty and Gladys did their thing, and now, especially after the deal, when Triller purchased Versus, then it was like fully blown concerts. As a matter of fact, Lily of SWV, I saw her. She tweeted. I saw her post a couple of tweets saying something to the effect, "I wish I would have known that this was going to be like a live concert and we're going to have bands." So, yeah, and it looks great, because the set you can tell there's been an infusion of cash, because now it's like
It's a
watching a
thing.
concert on HBO. Backlighting and
Yes. And it needs to be, because nobody wants to sit up and look at whatever Monica and Brandy did. Okay? Nobody wants to see that. I'm just keeping it real.
Well, let's say this though. Let me.
SWV and I'm gonna tell you, Escape, and I'm sure they got the memo from Candy. Said get dressed, because see, when it's like your mama told you, whenever you come out the door, be ready.
True.
And Escape came ready.
Yeah, they did. Well, so let me just not push back, but here, to your point, and I know you love this because you and I talked about it. I think about the Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind, and Fire. Mm-hmm. Everybody, that might be the most viewed verses. They didn't have bands. They had the band, it was Ernie, Ronald and Ernie, and it was Philip Bailey, and Philip Bailey and Verdine. So you had, members of the band, but they didn't have it wasn't like a full-blown concert. It was Philip singing, over his song. It was Ronald Isley singing over his song, and I guess this.
And Steve Harvey interrupting the flow.
We know.
But
notice I didn't mention his name. Well, at least at halftime, he got the memo. I guess Swizz or Timberland said, "Yo, Steve, STFU, shut the, sit down. We didn't pay you to do storytelling. This is not the storytelling hour. Let them tell stories or let them sing their songs." But the point I was trying to make is that there was a certain, for me, I'm just saying for me, I don't know about for you. Give me your take. There was an intimacy. I enjoyed that.
Right, but you're missing. No. You're not missing anything. Let me clarify. I don't think what I'm talking about for Toni and Mary would be good for everybody. I am saying that's how I want to see Toni and Mary.
I understand. Gotcha.
So I think there is, that's the beauty of this. There are many ways that you can do verses.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the same for everybody. I love what Patty
and Gladys.
Yes.
And then Dion came out at the end because they had a real relationship. So
yes.
It was like two girlfriends just talking and then but singing their song. That's the point, Key. I'm glad you mentioned that. There's a certain intimacy and authenticity that, you couldn't pull that off. See, I don't think. Well, now I see where you're going with it because Mary and Toni couldn't pull off
No.
the presentation that Patty
Oh,
and Gladys because they don't have that kind of personal history
right.
or
And I
relationship. I
see
got you.
Toni
I got you.
on her side of the stage with her band,
Yeah.
Mary on her side of the
Okay.
stage with her band. They both have their little stools, and in between, they get to know each other.
Yeah.
So, Mary,
I
you
like
and I
that.
both came out around, and what was this, and I remember when I broke up with my, husband, and
Okay.
then you were actually getting married when I was getting divorced, and this is the song that came out. See, you can produce
I like.
all kinds of beauty.
Girl, you need to be careful. You listen. I keep telling you, you
It's
are.
killing
See,
all my stuff.
I know
Yeah,
you are a hell of a producer, but folks gonna be stealing your ideas. So you need
yeah.
to send Swiss and Timberland like your consultant package, your consultant proposal as an executive producer.
Yeah, I actually,
Real
for
talk.
those
Yeah,
watching, I
yeah.
am a really good producer.
Yeah.
A
Listen,
great,
I'm bragging on her. She don't brag on herself, so for her to say that, but it is true. But if
but
you,
I am,
because
it
Key,
is the truth.
if you think
So
about
that's all I'm saying, Gino,
right,
is that I want to see a show, a more of a show with their bands with them. But I'm not sure that we're going to see that show on July 4th. But if I was a gambling lady, I would say that date has been left open and they're at the table negotiating, because that would be heck of a to
yeah,
have for the holiday. And let me tell you, the barbecue and all of that stuff would be done, or do figure it out yourself, because mama will be in front of the TV
or the tablet or the smartphone, something.
in the backyard. Everybody's got the big screens in the backyard
Yes.
now. And you can sit out, baby. I'll be sitting out there with that big screen and my whatever. And I don't want to hear nothing from no kids, no husband. Mary and Toni are on. We're on first name basis. Get away from me.
Wait, but before you get away, bring me another glass of wine, or
Another
better yet,
glass.
just bring the bottle of champagne in a glass, and I got this.
I got this, and you get out of here. The only people that would be allowed are my other girls.
There you go. There you go.
And I might have them on Zoom. We can have this. Yeah, but that would be a spectacular versus, and they gotta do it. So they just gotta work out the kinks. But because Mary did say, these were her exact words, well, what do I need to do a versus for? And I said, uh-oh, that smell like money.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's,
Yeah.
listen, secure the bag, Mary. I ain't mad at you. And
I ain't
Toni,
mad at you either.
and Toni secured the bag because one could argue
Yeah.
that Toni might need to secure the bag even more than Mary. But
Why?
two things can be true, Key. Secure the bag, but for the culture, that would be great for the culture. And,
Yes.
and both things can happen. And listen, the company that owns Triller, they got the money. Okay.
Oh,
So they
yeah.
got it. So
But why do
think,
you think Toni needs to do more than Mary? What did you mean?
Toni, listen, I mean, it's no secret. Toni has had a history,
Yeah,
bankruptcies. So I'm just saying, I'm speculating here. I'm not
Oh,
taking
okay.
shots.
Wait a minute.
These are facts. These are not.
Don't you be messing with my girls, because
Listen, look,
but no, Toni is fine.
yeah,
Toni
yeah,
is fine.
yeah. But still,
Yeah, Toni.
nonetheless, now we could flip that. Some might argue, well, Kendu, her ex, may have gone through, so you never know. So that could, but I mean, Toni's been very open. I mean, it's no shade and no secret. She's been very open about her bankruptcy issues a couple times, actually.
Right, but
Which is that ain't no shade. But I'm just
the
saying.
one bank. I mean, listen, for all of you out there who are watching, who think you can judge, let me just say something. Most millionaires, forget about the billionaires, most millionaires file bankruptcy on average 7 times before they become successful.
Funny you should say that, Key, because you teed me up, because I was just going to suggest there was some person, an ex-disgraced chief executive of a country that we all know and love, who had 6 bankruptcies, at least
Oh,
6.
oh,
And
that one.
yeah, and somehow wound up in the Oval Office. So I'm just,
Yeah.
so to put it in context, okay?
Yeah. So filing bankruptcy is not, I mean, it's a big deal for those who don't understand. But when she had the residency, speaking of, we're talking of Toni Braxton,
Right.
when she had the residency in Vegas, I mean, that's when she found out that she was sick. And
Yes.
so she had to,
Cancel. Yeah.
cancel the rest of the residency. Residency means that in Vegas, you're there. So
Right.
you do shows every night at the same place, or 4 times a week at the same venue. And people come to see you versus you traveling all around the country.
Right.
Well, she got sick, she had to cancel. So when you do that, the vendors then come to sue you because they have planned to be with you for X amount of years or what have you. And so their money is dependent upon you. And when you cancel, then they now have been affected.
Right.
And so that's why she had to file that bankruptcy.
That
The first
particular
one was because she was in a crappy contract,
Yeah.
but that's not new.
Yeah, that's the industry. Exactly. That's how the
Yeah.
industry survives and thrives, and that's how they make money.
Yeah.
By young artists who don't know the business, and they give them these very contracts that exploit the artists. I mean, they're tilted toward the industry because they know most young people, artists, they don't understand the business. That's why it's called show business. And if you are a young person, you always wanted to sing or be a performer, you're just focused on the show and the records. You're focused on the show and not the business.
Right.
The record company are focused on the business, really don't give a damn about the show.
Absolutely. Well, only in the context that it gets some more business.
Right.
And I'm sorry, Geno, I'm looking at the clock because, I got to run to my room soon and get dressed for Mary movie.
Well,
so
yes.
If I
So
throw this computer in the garbage,
no. Well, listen. All right, go ahead.
I'm in the room watching Mary.
So, in closing, what you
Yes.
got? Whatever you want to say in closing, go.
I'm so excited about this movie for a number of reasons. And one doesn't have anything to do with Mary. The first reason I'm excited about this movie is because, doggone it, this has been, COVID was horrible being trapped and locked in, but it has been a great time for Black people, Black women, people of color on the big screen or, on our cable networks to see their documentaries, to see the movies, to see the productions, things that they're producing. I am overjoyed. So thank you, Amazon, for Mary. I'm also excited to hear all the things that maybe we don't know about Mary, to have her go in depth with the KC, what was going on there, go in depth with why we never even saw her eyes, which we know is because of drugs, but we didn't see her eyes for 2 albums. She had sunglasses on, hiding the pain, literally, and that's no joke. I want to hear more about what happened in that marriage with Kendu. I want to hear her talk about her stepdaughter who was on one of those the kids hip hop show with
really?
Bow Wow and
Love and Hip Hop. Is she Love and Hip Hop Atlanta?
no,
or
not
New York?
Love and Hip Hop. It's with the kids.
I can't think of it.
Growing Up Hip Hop or something.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. That one. I didn't know.
Kendu's daughter is been on that show for years, since they started, and she mentioned Mary when they first started the show. It's kind of her background story and how close they were. And I want Mary's take on that relationship because I don't know that they are still in a relationship because there was some back and forth when the divorce was going down. But to just provide you with a little bit of knowledge, the daughter and the father are not close.
Oh, okay.
So she seemed to be closer to Mary than she was to her father. But I wonder if that relationship is going on. So I'd like to see if maybe she hints on that. And then the biggie, what's up with Puff? That relationship, just like Toni Braxton with LaFace and especially Kenny, Babyface Edmonds. You know, you that one that thinks of you as their muse. A lot of times there's a break in that relationship. Always, it seems. And I think just like Mariah, we were talking about Tommy Mottola, right? Last week.
That's a whole different.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that muse versus, the
But I understand.
one.
No, I understand what you're saying. I mean, we
Yeah.
could go back to Barry Gordy and Diana Ross. That's
Yes, all of that. So I want to know all the little stuff we don't know about her and Puff.
Key want the dirt. She want the tea.
I want it.
Key.
I want it.
Keela wants the 411. Look out now, boy. I'm good.
Drop the mic.
She want the 411, Mary. Come on. What's the 411?
What's the 411? Yeah. So yeah, I really want to know about Puff. They made up, just like Toni and Kenny made up, just like, well, I don't know if Mariah and Tommy, but
yeah, that one.
But
some things you can't come back from.
Casey and that relationship, what was going on with that?
It was bad. So yes. All right, Keith. Well, I'm gonna let you run so you can go and put on.
I gotta get dressed
put your gown on. You got your gown, and you got your cigar. You got your bottle of champagne. Your ace of spades or whatever you rocking. You ready to go?
Yeah, me, Mary, and Ripple.
Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Keela Carson. Thank you, Key.
Wait a minute. No, Geno, you can't let me go just yet.
Okay. Well, you told me you said I gotta go. So.
I'm going right now, but don't you sing Roy Ayers and don't say he's from Detroit.
I didn't know he was from Detroit.
There you go, mic drop.
Okay. Because when I met Roy Ayers as a young buck, when I lived out in L.A. in the early 90s before I came to work with you, he was living in L.A.
Living in L.A. and where you were born is two separate things. Mary J., that big hit came from Detroit.
Okay. All right. East side or west side? Which 8 Mile? East 8 Mile or west 8 Mile?
Now you know.
I don't know. I'm asking. Is he a Tech grad too?
I know when he was here, it was kind of in the suburbs. But,
well, good. Southfield, at the time, because for a while, wasn't the only suburb that black folks could move into was Southfield?
Shoot, when you talking to out of towners, you just say I'm from Detroit. You don't have to get into all that suburban stuff.
All right, go get ready for Mary, because I'm gonna do the same thing. Keela Carson, the incomparable Keela Carson. Love you, Key. I appreciate you. As I say, you bring out the best of me on camera, girl. Thank you very much. That's my people. We'll see you next week.
Yep. See you next week, G.
All right. That's my people right there. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, God, most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show, coming to you live right here on my YouTube channel, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Geno Jones channel on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, and tag this episode and tag all my back episodes. Go back and binge watch my back episodes. Please check them all out. But Tuesday's episode, I had special commentary. I had a special monologue. As a matter of fact, the show was my entire monologue. Message to President Joe Biden, Senators Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, and all the senators in the House of Representatives. The title was called "Do Something." Do something. Oh yeah, I was on one. That's all I'm going to say. I felt in the zone. You see for yourself. All right. If you would like to be a sponsor of the Geno Jones Show, I would be honored to have you as a sponsor. If you'd like to advertise on this show or my channel, I would be honored to have you advertise on this channel, on my show. If you are looking for the ultimate pitch man to promote, to build your brand, your business, your products, help move and sell your products, your goods, or your services, I am the king, not the king, the king of pitchmen. Holla at your boy. Leave me a message right here on my YouTube channel, or you can email me. That's how you spell Geno Jones. Geno with a G-E. Geno Jones Show at Gmail. Also, follow me on Instagram, Geno Jones Show, Twitter at Geno Jones, Facebook, Geno Jones, my public figure page, which is relatively new, Geno Jones Live. Live is in caps, L-I-V-E. Shout out to Mr. Markale Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. He's on Instagram. You can check him out, Kelby Cutting Up, Kelbecuttinup. Mr. Bruce Gage, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can search him on Instagram, Bruce Gage, G-A-G-E. Thank you so much for watching. I love each and every one of you. I really do. And Mother, you know I love you more than life itself. Have a great weekend. You and me Monday, right back here, right here live on my YouTube channel, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Once again, have a great weekend. Thank you so much for watching. And until Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, be blessed. I'm going to close today's show with the brand new song, the second single from the soon to be released album, 35 Years in the Making, Jam and Lewis Volume 1, the second single from that album. Guest vocals starring Miss Mariah Carey. Have a good evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time you're watching this. Once again, like I said, thank you so much for watching. Be blessed. Let's check out the new video, Jam and Lewis, featuring Miss Toni Braxton. I'm sorry, featuring Miss Mariah Carey. I think that Toni Braxton song is coming. Let's check out this new Mariah Carey.
We stood there alone in that silent corridor. Those unspoken words conjured fixation, capturing me. Fell helplessly into bliss, just like both started to switch. And now springs everything that I miss, someone loved. The more I thought about you, was the less I thought about me. And I lost myself in this dream, someone loved. Breaking my heart, breaking my heart, breaking my heart again. No such thing as lovers and friends. Breaking my heart, breaking my heart, breaking my heart again. Only live to break my heart again. Spun out of control in this faithless world I must own. Angel turned his back, and where wings once were, they were no longer in chains. Helplessly into bliss, just like falling started to swim. And now springs everything that I miss, someone loves. The more I thought about you, the less I thought about me. And I lost myself in this dream, someone loves. Only someone they. Breaking my heart, breaking my heart. Why you gotta keep going? Not such thing as love was a friend. Breaking my heart, breaking my heart. Only live to break my heart again. You
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.